all about ChatGPT plugins from zero to hero. Welcome back to ChatGPT News, the go-to channel for the latest updates and insights on the world of ChatGPT. I'm your host, and in today's video, we have an exciting lineup of news and developments to share with you. From advancements in language models to innovative applications of ChatGPT, we've got it all covered. So, let's dive right in. First up, let's talk about the cutting-edge advancements in language models. Over the past few months, researchers and developers have been pushing the boundaries of what ChatGPT can do. We've seen improvements in areas such as context understanding, response coherence, and even better handling of nuanced queries. One notable breakthrough is the introduction of ChatGPT Plus, a subscription plan that offers several benefits to users. With ChatGPT Plus, you gain general access to the model even during peak times, faster response times, and priority access to new features and improvements. This subscription plan has been a game-changer for many users, allowing them to experience ChatGPT without any limitations. Now, let's explore some fascinating applications of ChatGPT that have emerged recently. One of the most exciting areas is in customer support and virtual assistants. Many companies are integrating ChatGPT into their support systems to provide instant and personalized responses to customer queries. This not only improves customer satisfaction, but also reduces the workload on support teams. Another exciting application is in the field of content creation. ChatGPT has been used to generate creative ideas, draft blog posts, and even assist in writing code. Content creators and developers are leveraging the power of ChatGPT to streamline their workflows and boost productivity. Plugin developers who have been invited off our waitlist can use our documentation to build a plugin for ChatGPT, which then lists the enabled plugins in the prompt shown to the language model as well as documentation to instruct the model how to use each. The first plugins have been created by Expedia, FiscalNote, Instacart, Kayak, Klarna, Milo, OpenTable, Shopify, Slack, Speak, Wolfram, and Zapier. OpenAI also hosting two plugins ourselves, a web browser and code interpreter. OpenAI also open-sourced the code for a knowledge base retrieval plugin, to be self-hosted by any developer with information with which they'd like to augment ChatGPT. Today, we will begin extending plugin alpha access to users and developers from our waitlist. While we will initially prioritize a small number of developers and ChatGPT Plus users, we plan to roll out larger-scale access over time. Browsing Alpha. An experimental model that knows when and how to browse the internet motivated by past work, our own WebGPT, as well as GopherSite, BlenderBot 2, Lambda 2 and others, allowing language models to read information from the internet strictly expands the amount of content they can discuss, going beyond the training corpus to fresh information from the present day. Here's an example of the kind of experience that browsing opens up to ChatGPT users, that previously would have had the model politely point out that its training data didn't include enough information to let it answer. This example, in which ChatGPT retrieves recent information about the latest Oscars, and then performs now familiar ChatGPT poetry feats, is one way that browsing can be an additive experience. Code Interpreter Alpha. An experimental ChatGPT model that can use Python, handle uploads and downloads. We provide our models with a working Python interpreter in a sandboxed, firewalled execution environment, along with some ephemeral disk space. Code run by our interpreter plugin is evaluated in a persistent session that is alive for the duration of a chat conversation, with an upper bound timeout, and subsequent calls can build on top of each other. We support uploading files to the current conversation workspace and downloading the results of your work. Retrieval. The open-source retrieval plugin enables ChatGPT to access personal or organizational information sources, with permission. It allows users to obtain the most relevant document snippets from their data sources, such as files, notes, emails, or public documentation, by asking questions or expressing needs in natural language. As an open-source and self-hosted solution, developers can deploy their own version of the plugin and register it with ChatGPT. The plugin leverages OpenAI embeddings and allows developers to choose a vector database, Milvus, Pinecone, Drant, Redis, Weaviate, or Zillize, for indexing and searching documents. Information sources can be synchronized with the database using webhooks. To begin, visit the Retrieval plugin repository. Third-party plugins, Alpha. Third-party plugins are described by a manifest file, which includes a machine-readable description of the plugin's capabilities and how to invoke them, as well as user-facing documentation. The steps for creating a plugin are: 1. Build an API with endpoints you'd like a language model to call. This can be a new API, an existing API, or a wrapper around an existing API specifically designed for LLMs. 2. Create an OpenAPI specification documenting your API, and a manifest file that links to the OpenAPI spec and includes some plugin-specific metadata. When starting a conversation on chat.openai.com, users can choose which third-party plugins they'd like to be enabled. Documentation about the enabled plugins is shown to the language model as part of the conversation context, enabling the model to invoke appropriate plugin APIs as needed to fulfill user intent. For now, plugins are designed for calling back-end APIs, but we are exploring plugins that can call client-side APIs as well. Looking forward, OpenAI is working to develop plugins and bring them to a broader audience. It has a lot to learn, and with the help of everyone, it hopes to build something that is both useful and safe.